Hey Scott, can you take us through those last two plays there? Just the one that you saw from Dom sort of streaking, and then your play against sort of Jackie that like sealed it.
Yeah, I think Nate got the rebound on that play and kicked it up. And I just saw Dom streaking. So I just threw it up to the basket. Nice catch and tough finish by her. I'm really impressed by the free throw. That's a big moment by a 19-year-old to have to go in there. We've been asking a lot from her all year. We always make fun that she's the youngest player to do whatever in a game. But it's really historic what she's been doing at her age in this league, her poise. And that was a big play for us. And then anytime I'm in a two-woman game with this person right here, I feel really confident. I thought they were gonna foul, so I just let Nneka keep holding the ball. It was like a 3 or 4 second differential in the shot clock and game clock, and they didn't foul, and we got into our game. I saw open in there, and took my chance. And so everybody made big shots all night and big plays for us. Though it just kind of came down to that, and a team that probably don't think they're gonna lose and haven't lost in a long time. It came down to a close game situation. We were able to close that last 7 minutes out. I think it was 23-7. So it was a big plays in the fourth quarter, especially going into the quarter down.
Skylar first, but I'd be curious Nneka's perspective as well. A couple of interesting things you mentioned on the court. Number one, feeling embarrassed about the performance in game one, and then number two, the Aces seeming unbeatable. Like, how did you sort of use that coming into this game? Both of those things.
Yeah, I mean, we got great leadership, and our best player shows a lot of poise. And I feed off Neck, and the way that she started the game with force, it kept us in that first quarter. And we knew we didn't want to start the game how we did. We talked about not going behind double digits in the first quarter. I alluded to some of that earlier today and right before the game of us starting with more force. And Percy asked me, we talked about situations where you let the game come to you. And tonight, we came to the game. And so, yeah, I thought we didn't react, we responded. We talked about some adjustments we wanted to make, and we were able to make those. Yeah, this team hasn't been beaten in a long time. We felt like we could because we've had success for them versus them before this year. It was about putting together, first of all, the start that we wanted and playing with the type of force, physicality. I mean, we won the rebounding battle. That was a big deal for us, and we kind of kept their others in place who had been playing really well coming off the bench. Dana Evans, even some of the role players, Melissa Smith, we were able to kind of keep them in check, and Cheyenne Parker, and they were a factor in the last game. So kind of came down to that. The start was the emphasis for us today, and the force that we wanted to play with. And then I believe we got 50-something penetrations or something like that. That's a huge part of our identity, and it showed our aggression level offensively today.
We talked pregame about how last week against Golden State, you guys found a way to rally, get that key shot, and you did it again in this one. What does it say about this team that in these situations where, quite frankly, the season's on the line, you're able to make that necessary play to get this win?
I think a lot of times you go through moments and you don't realize what they're for. I feel like a lot of August was for today. We are not unfamiliar with tight games. We're not unfamiliar with playing from behind, especially kind of in the second. And I think that today was probably one of our best showings of composure.
Yeah.
We weren't too high, we weren't too low. We were responsive, we weren't reactive. And we took every possession as seriously as we could. So for us to be able to use that experience that we got, since the All-Star break in the postseason, that's exactly what it's for.
Nneka, to go off of that, in the third period, they're kind of starting to run away with it. They get a double-digit lead. But in the fourth quarter, you guys outscore them by 11. So what kind of did you see? What was happening in that third quarter? How did you guys adjust and win the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think that our approach today was there was a concerted effort to exploit the switch. That's just something that, I mean, we've been seeing now maybe for like the past 3 times we played them, but not being arrested by it. So I think that when I was aggressive in the beginning, it allowed for things to open up. It allowed for people to discover different looks. And that's exactly what we got. When we're in an action together, I strongly believe that you can't guard both. You can't guard both. At least you can't guard both like successfully. And I'm trying. I'm talking as a basketball player. I'm not gassing anything right now. I'm just saying. I'm just saying because of what we both can do. We also can't allow people to feel like they can guard both. So I think being empowered to be more aggressive, it made things more open for her. Then she could flow. Then I could flow. Then E let the game come to her. Then Dom was cleaning things up, and that's how we gotta play. That's how we have to play off of each other and understand that the game isn't going to end with this one possession, and build off of what we see and what is open, and great teams change things up. We saw so many different ways about being in the ball action today. So being cerebral with it, being students of the game, I really do attribute our win tonight for that.
For either one of you, we've talked about the Storm fans a lot this season. They were, the loudest they've been all season today. Just how did their energy and engagement contribute to the result tonight, and how do you kind of take that energy onto the road into what will be a tough environment again?
Yeah, I spoke about it on the floor. I mean, we were yelling, like my throat is, like I was yelling all night at them because it was so loud in here, I couldn't hear myself. And that's the atmosphere that they've had all year for us, regardless how we play. I mean, maybe the past 26 years seasons. But this city has always been very supportive, and they've been very supportive of us this year. And that's why we were very concentrated on the type of effort that we wanted to come out with tonight. And obviously our goal is to get back here for another home game. But definitely the Storm Crazies have been, very supportive of us all year. And in the biggest moment where we needed them to be, they were the loudest. And so we appreciate everybody that supported us. And, we wish we could bottle that up and take some of that on the road with us.
Nneka, before the game, you said that you guys weren't feeling pressured about this game because it wasn't about a series, it was about a single game. So how do you then take this game and the momentum from this game into the next game, and like what you did, the good things from this game to the next one?
I mean, if we're approaching it in that regard, and I really do feel like that's probably at least that's the best advice that I've been given. Brian Agger was the one who said that to us in 16 and 17. You got to win the game, because when you try to win the series, moments kind of get outside of you. And I think in the same way that you do in the regular season, where you want to streak.
Yeah.
You want to streak, So we build off of this to now go on a 2-game winning streak, and ultimately where the series falls, the series falls. So I know we're going to look at the things that we could do better always from this game, but then also look at things that worked, knowing that there's going to be adjustments that are going to have to be made because this is the playoffs.
Skylar, over here, just being able to hit a shot like that with 5 seconds left. I'm curious, like, is that something, being cold-blooded in a moment like that, is that something you feel like you've always had?
Cold-blooded kid.
Is that how you've always been, or as a life in basketball, has years of basketball prepared you for a moment like that?
I think maybe a little bit of both. Obviously, it's not the first time I've been in that moment. I've been in the playoffs, a few years in my career. I've been to the finals before. But also I know that this team has a level of trust in me too, and that also gives me an air of confidence about myself, how I prepare for these moments. But not being afraid at the moment is the playoffs, and so can't be afraid to take the shot. I know the ball is in my hands for a reason to play make, and I just took my opportunity, and I think that was the biggest difference in my game personally between game 1 and 2. Was being relentless and turning the corner, getting the paint, engaging, making them guard me. I'm just being super aggressive. And so when I have that mindset, like I said, I'm not gassing either. I just feel like, nobody can stay in front of me when I have that mindset. And so not being afraid of the moment, taking a big shot, and then obviously next set me a good screen to kind of get me free.
Nneka, Skylar mentioned how much you guys have asked of Dom this season, but specifically in this game, what does it mean to have a 19-year-old who's able to one-on-one Asia and then score to put your team ahead?
I mean, I remember myself at 19, and that's not something that I was thinking about doing, let alone succeeding at. Dom, I actually think that not only is Dom wise, but I also feel like there is a bit of naivete that contributes to.
She don't know better.
Yeah, you know, like she's like, okay, I'm who I am, I'm out there, I'm gonna do this, you know. And it's actually, it's beautiful because, you know, we've all been, right, that
Or
was a
hanging on the
mistake. Yeah, that
rim,
was
you
a
know,
mistake.
19.
Yeah, but she was, I mean, I was like, okay, I like that energy, you know? But I think that kind of innocence, mixed with what experience she already has, and then her realizing who she is in almost every single possession, you know? There is an evolution in every single game that we play with. We have not seen the same Dom in 2 games. She's just learning and improving that much, and we just try our best to continue to empower her to know how truly capable she is.
Final question, Maz, go ahead.
Skylar, I get the cold-blooded killer that scores 11 points and gets the game-winning shot. Take me to the cold-blooded killer that gets 0 points in the third quarter and then just waits for the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like Nick said, we all gonna have our spots in the games. Obviously, they make adjustments to coverages. I wasn't mad at my looks. But you just have to stay ready for the opportunity. I don't even think I came out in the second half. So you just playing the game, and we have a lot of capable players who can make plays. And so just trying to stay in that mindset of when I do, sometimes that duality of being a point guard is a distribution and getting your own. And so I live in that duality. But just making reads tonight, like Nick said, not overthinking any play. It was a lot of things that I didn't like, you know, that happened throughout the course of the game. But I think just keeping our composure and keeping our poise is really important. So, yeah, staying aggressive, you know, in moments like this, you always have to be ready to have the basketball in your hands.
Thanks, Guy. Thanks, Nneka.
Thank you guys.
So.